Good morning again, everyone. This is Charles Hayward calling you here from the awesome state of Maryland. I want to thank you all again for joining this week's The Masters of Mind call. And we are here every Monday morning, 9:30 a.m., same time, same line, just 5 to 10 minutes of really quick inspiration, tools, and information that I hope will help you move your life in a direction of excellence. This morning, I wanted to talk about reaching your full potential, you guys. I don't know, but the question came to mind to me. Are you striving to reach your full potential? And I'll be honest, when I posed that question to myself, I was really, really vexed. A million more questions came to mind when I really began to think about it. Dale Carnegie once said that we all have possibilities that we don't know about. We all can do things that we don't even dream that we can do. And as I thought about that statement, one word just continued to come to my mind. That word was why. Why is it that in a world of infinite possibilities, we always tend to limit ourselves in what we're capable of accomplishing? Why do we so easily adopt the misguided beliefs of others without looking for the truth in our own lives? Why do we allow fear to rob us of what we could be? Why do we allow the expectations of others to dictate the heights to which we can soar? The eagle doesn't allow his flight to be determined by the wings of a chicken. The great oak doesn't grow on the same timetable as a pine tree. So why do most people allow the exterior factors in their life to dictate who they are on the inside? Because isn't that what really matters? Who we are on the inside? When will you realize that the person whose heart beats in your chest was made for greatness? That you were put on this planet to accomplish a thing that only you can accomplish. That there's a special gift inside of you that only you can give the world. Now, you may not know what it is right now, but I promise if you look for it, you will find it. Stop being afraid of that journey. The rewards will be worth more than a mountain of gold. I once read a quote that reminded people that every great river began as a small stream. Every big tree began as a little seed. And every great thing began with a small deed. So don't worry that you aren't the person that you want to be today. Today doesn't determine anything other than where your journey will begin. The only person who can determine what your tomorrow will be is you. And you just have to decide exactly what your tomorrow is going to look like, how you will manifest your own greatness despite the naysayers. And even before you begin to think about how to manifest your own greatness, you first have to believe that you are already great. One of my coaches mentioned a few days ago how people would rather piggyback off the greatness of others than to be great themselves. Millions of people this past week went out and bought jerseys from players on their favorite sports team. They bought Baltimore Ravens Ray Lewis jerseys. They went out and bought Los Angeles Lakers Kobe Bryant jerseys. They bought RG3 Washington Redskins jerseys, all in an effort to make themselves feel a little better by walking around with someone else's name on their back, someone who's already done the job to achieve a level of success. My question today is, when are you going to start making steps towards your own greatness? When are you going to commit to the journey of fulfilling your own great potential? Because you are great. Listen, I want to thank you all again for being a part of this week's Masters of Mind call. We're here every Monday morning, 9:30 a.m., same time, same line. That's 559-726-1000, PIN code 601864#. You can also find us online at facebook.com/themastersofmind. Until next week, remember that your destination in life is not determined by what happens to you, but rather what you do about what happens to you. This is Charles Hayward signing off. I wish you all a wonderful day. God bless and take charge.